Welcome back to beautiful Sao Paulo as we get ready for qualifying for round 5 of the FIA World Endurance Championship, leading into Sunday's 6-hour race, the Rolex 6 Hours of Sao Paulo. We're at the circuit at Interlagos, and the fervent Paulista fans have been down in the pit lane today, meeting their drivers, getting lots of autographs and lots of photos. Now waiting to see the cars heading out on track. And as has become the custom for the last few years, we have separated our LMGT3 cars and the hypercar field. LMGT3 will go out first, they will qualify, and then the fastest will go through into Hyperpole. Ben Keating, whose 33 Corvette ended up on top of the timesheet at the end of FP3, hoping to make it through into Hyperpole for the first time this season. Francois Heriot, not a happy camper in the number 21 Ferrari team, and that is the car that is currently lying in second place in the championship, just 5 points behind the 92 Porsche, the first form Porsche that is our championship leader. Martin Haven, Graham Goodwin and Darren Turner watching the action. Down in the pit lane is Bruce Schwani. Final preparations being made. And Darren Turner, for a driver, qualifying is where you get the car in probably the best shape it's going to be all weekend.
Well, you hope so. That's the key, isn't it? You want to make sure that when you're going out for qualifying, the car's in the best condition it possibly can be, in its fastest condition. And you're the driver that gets chosen to do that role. You know, it's super special to be out on qualifying duties and to get the car when it's light on fuel and new tyres and hopefully not disturbed on the track with any traffic. You know, that's probably the only time during the whole weekend that you can pretty much guarantee a clear track.
You just saw Celia Martin and Ryan Hardwick. They're qualifying the Porsches at round 5 of the championship. This is the last race before we have our little midsummer break, and then in quick succession go to Lone Star Le Mans at the Circuit of the Americas, Austin, Texas, to Fuji in Japan, which, like Spa, has been on the calendar every single year of the championship. We round out our season again in Bahrain. So LMGT3 first, and the deal here is that the bronze graded driver does the first part of qualifying, and then if the car gets through into Hyperpole, it will be the silver graded driver who has to do that. We're using the brand new Goodyear hard compound tyre here, and that will be suitable for hotter track conditions, so it's due to be used in Cota and Bahrain as well, probably. But what about this track? Well, Darren Turner knows it better than the rest of us.
It's a superb circuit, one of the old school Grand Prix tracks, got lovely elevation change and really technical aspects about it as well. So turn 1 and 2, I'd say turn 2 is the critical corner at the beginning of the lap. Compromise turn 1, get down and make sure you exit out of 2 through to 3, and that big drag down to turn 4. It's all about the speed that you can carry through turn 3. Moving into sector 2, corner 6 and 7, there's sort of one big corner really. For me, this is the pinch point between the GT cars and the hypercars. It's really difficult through here because the difference in speed between those cars is quite large, so you're going to see some traffic management going on there. Final sector, and it's turn 12. I would think this is the most important corner on the track. It's about getting the car through the corner. Exit speed is key at this point, and not scrubbing off any speed and losing it all the way down the main straight as you come to the start-finish line.
Funny, isn't it, that as fans we focus on the high-speed climb back up to the finish line, the overtaking opportunity at the centre S's, whereas in fact the key corners, particularly in qualifying for the lap time, are as so often the slowest ones.
Yeah, you spend more time in the slow speed corner, so if you're going to make a mistake or you're not optimising the car's performance at that point, you're actually going to be more detrimental on your overall lap time. But this track's got a bit of everything, hasn't it? It's got a few medium speed corners, a couple of high speed, but even so, the high speed are more the type that you're sort of just travelling through, like the 13s and 14s. So yeah, going back to that turn 12, it's all about your lap time is going to be created about how quickly you can get up the hill. And that sometimes, you know, that moment in qualifying, you approach turn 12 and just set yourself up so you get the slingshot up the hill, minimise any traction issues up there, and just try and take as much speed as you possibly can onto the start-finish straight.
So again, all the bronze graded drivers will be in the car, and most of them are likely to start the race as well. You tend to get your bronze driver in first, try and get all of his driving time done in one stint, or in one session at least, without having to interrupt it. And Graham Goodwin, these Goodyear Eagles, the hard compound, and a change of surface after resurfacing here, leaves all the teams kind of feeling their way around. If the surface changed but the tyre didn't, that would be one thing. If the tyre changed but the surface didn't, that would be another.
And these are the Eagle Hards, the red sidewalls on the hard compound, introduced here for the very first time. As you can see, designed for 15 to 45 degrees track temperature. Think though, track temperatures here are a little lower than we're possibly expecting with the introduction of this tyre. So you're right, there's all sorts of journeys into the unknown being taken, particularly for the GT teams here. Is this this tyre's got to be designed to suit every car? Is it going to be even across all of these cars? That's up for debate at the moment. How is it going to go in terms of its longevity and keeping the performance in the tyre? Again, all into the unknown, as you say, with the change in track surface since we were here last year, full resurface and then further patching. Little cooler than probably people actually expected, and the new tyre as well. There's all sorts of data being gathered here, and I think we're going to see some surprises, not necessarily just in qualifying, Martin, but as this race gets deeper into the 6 hours.
Definitely, because the teams are going to be learning on the fly, aren't they? They're going to be making it up as they go along. They'll have whatever data they've got from free practice, but that won't necessarily include a lot of long runs and very little long run back-to-back on the same tyre sets, because they have other things that they have to do in free practice. So we are just about to send everybody out, 18 cars heading out onto the track. And Darren, this is a shorter lap compared to certainly obviously Le Mans, but obviously to Spa as well. And so it's going to be quite busy. You're going to have to work a little harder to place your driver in his car out in some clear air.
Yeah, I mean, with the 12-minute session that we've got coming ahead, it's actually going to take probably 2 laps, at least 2 laps, with the length of this circuit to get the tyres in and get the pressures to the right point. So, yeah, there's going to be a bit of jostling for track position, so especially when they come onto their 3rd lap. Looking at the track temperatures, the highest we've had so far since any of the practice sessions. So again, it's into the unknown for the teams. What pressures are you going to be running, and when do you expect the sort of peak performance to be coming in? So it's always the whole weekend. It's a learning curve, isn't it? You're always adapting and trying to second guess what the track conditions are going to give you.
Well, we had cloud cover this morning. That sort of cleared away at lunchtime, and so the fleece came off and it was t-shirt weather again. But actually, the temperature is dropping again. So track temperature is dropping. The clouds have rolled back in. So that track temperature is going to continue to go down. So again, yeah, lots of thinking for the engineers. 12-minute qualifying session for LMGT3 about to get underway. Round 5 of the FIA World Endurance Championship here.
Under 1 minute to the start of the LMGT3 qualifying session. Under 1 minute.
Remember, this first session, it's not about who is fastest, it's about who is slowest.
Yes.
So watch for the TV graphics to show you who's going to be in the drop zone. As that's going to be the critical parts here. Included in the storylines here, by the way, is one driver in this this session, Tony McIntosh, aboard the number 10 Racing Spirit Le Mans car.
30 seconds to the start of the qualifying session.
Who's a WC debutant, replacing Derek De Boer here. And we'll see Tony for a couple of races later on in the season as well, with Derek coming back for just the one, I believe.
I've had a look
15 seconds to the start of the session. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is now open. Pit exit is now open. This is the start of the LMGT3 qualifying session.
I had a look at, sorry, I interrupted it earlier, but I had a look at the session earlier with Tony's times, and it looks like he's adapted really well. First time here at the circuit. Obviously, a little bit of experience with the Aston Martin, but he's definitely getting up to speed. So hopefully this session for him, it just gives him a bit more time on track and maybe, you know, surprise us and be in the top 10.
I think I'm right. He worked with the team at the Road to Le Mans this year, so he had some time out on the full Le Mans circuit this year, and Certainly quite experienced GT racer. Good to see him in the WEC. There's another driver we might see for the first time in Hyperpole, if that team makes it.
Now, you haven't got a chance to watch the entire Le Mans before tomorrow's race gets underway, but you can certainly go and look at some highlights. The full Le Mans race replay is available, though. Le Mans now has its own separate YouTube channel, 24 Heures du Mans, 24 Heures du Mans in French. So you can see the race highlights as well. And don't forget that this week, or in fact, beginning of the week, the full access program from Le Mans dropped, as the kids used to say, probably back in the day, and that's now an hour-long behind-the-scenes look at what happened in the Le Mans 24 hours. So all sorts of interest, intrigue of what went on during the race. Cars heading out for their first lap on these stone-cold tyres, so they have to be kept in the garage, in the shade, so they're at ambient air temperature, which is about 20 degrees at the moment, and Darren, they'll need to be right up close to 100 degrees to be at operating temperature. So this is a key part of it, isn't it, is building the temperature in the tyre and making sure that you don't overcook it as you're trying to do so.
It's a completely different process. If you look at all the practice sessions, when they go out, they attack straight away because of the fact that that's what you will have to do in the race to get the energy into the tyre, and you can't afford to just gently bring up the tyre. In qualifying, you're trying to look after the tyre as much as possible, so it's at its optimal when you start your first full push lap. So you can see they're gradually bringing the tyre temperatures and pressures up just to make sure that they don't damage the tyre before they really require it to put the lap time down. So it's a completely different, like this is the only time they sort of really take their time to look after their tyre.
All sorts of variables. The driver, of course, Yasser Shaheen, it will be in the number 31 Ben Team WRT car.
And that, you'll have noticed, is no longer the orange, white and black it has been all season. They've got a full Brazilian livery on it. They've got a 2/3 Brazilian driver team.
Yeah, so we wait and see whether or not Yasser can get the car into Hyperpole. If he can, then Pedro Ibrahim will be a debutant in qualifying this season. But it's fair to say that WRT BMWs did not have the best of pace in the FP3 session this morning.
I think if they get either car into Hyperpole, they will be as surprised as delighted, because it did not seem that they had the pace at all. This car did, though. The Iron Dames should be on the money. They could well be in Hyperpole. And Celia Martin is doing their first run here.
Celia adapting really well to being effectively the new bronze bullet in the gun for the Iron Dames. Pace is absolutely there. Needs to work really hard and being as error-free as she possibly can. Had a couple of very good races in the European Le Mans Series. Ben Keating, though, is going to be one to watch here. Can he put the 33 car into Hyperpole? I think you said, Martin, earlier, for the first time this season.
Yep.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, their qualifying has been 13th, 16th, 19th and 22nd or something like that this season. Qatar was their best qualifying, and they did not make it through into Hyperpole there either.
There's
So
little
the Iron
mistakes
Dames
like there that of Ben on the way out of turn 2. That's not going to help this lap at the moment. So.
This is the new look to how you can judge who's doing what. Remember, in this session, it's below the red line that matters.
Yeah.
The way to go before we need to start getting shrill about it yet, but that's the task. Cars above the red line into Hyperpole, cars below, well, not.
The turquoise car of Ryan Hardwick, currently second fastest after that first lap. And these are the championship leaders. They were our winners in Imola. They were our winners in Le Mans as well. So with a slender advantage in the championship over the 21 Ferrari. And you can see both Ferraris not yet to complete a really quick lap outside the drop zone. So too is the 33 Corvette of Ben Keating. But again, 10 seconds off the pace means simply that he hasn't put in a fast flying lap.
Now we begin to see significant time improvements to the top Martin Berry and then to Tom van Rompuy. But the 33 Corvette below the drop zone here. Both the McLarens just above, together with the 10 Aston. 81 Corvette to the top.
Darren Leung going to the top as well in the
Keating.
95 McLaren.
Keating goes to the top.
Every car that's coming across the line now is coming across the line quicker and quicker. And the question is, does anybody have anything more once they've done a lap? Are we going to see them able to slow down, try and find a little bit of life in the tyre for another charge?
I think here there's definitely going to be more opportunity to have like 2 or 3 laps on the tyre before you've gone past the peak. So I don't think it'd be like now we're seeing lap 3. I think it's going to be lap 4 or 5, especially for the bronze drivers. They just take a little bit more to get into maximising what they can get out of the tyre.
There are 2 iron links around the AMG Mercedes. One is black with yellow highlights. The other one is yellow with black highlights. You're looking at the black car of Martin Berry, the Aussie. Andrew Gilbert in the 60 car, the bright yellow Mercedes, had his first flying lap disallowed. It wasn't enough actually to get him in, and Ben Keating has lost that lap as well. So he is down at the tail of the field. We saw him running out wide. So now Keating is under pressure to produce the goods. Good first sector, not such a great second sector. As he comes to the line, it's a long way up the hill, isn't it? It's a long old walk as well.
A chunky gap, by the way, from 10th to 11th, and that is the drop zone. So improvements needed for the 77 Ford. Ben Keating's effort there only good enough for 12th. The 78 Lexus, the 54 Ferrari, 31 BMW, both Aston Martins, and the 60 Mercedes at the moment. As things stand, if they can't improve, that will be all she wrote, but it is changing and changing rapidly.
Well, the number 10 Aston you're looking at now has just jumped into 7th fastest, and that's pushed out the number 27 car that got closer. There's now half a second covering the fast 10. Thomas Floor into 8th place in the 54 Ferrari.
And in doing so, drops the other Ferrari out into the drop zone.
60 Mercedes as well. That's the car that's been driven by Andrew Gilbert, the yellow one. That's improved, but still 6/10 away from safety.
Gap, by the way, between 10th into Hyperpole and 11th out of Hyperpole, 6 thousandths of a second. Ben Keating on a quicker time, Ian James on a quicker time, Francois Heriot on a quicker time.
And they're going to need to be as well. And that Lexus time has now opened up the margin over the top 10 from half a second to a full second. So that's a massive run from Petru Umbrarescu. What about Keating?
Not an improvement in the second sector from the 33 car.
No, he needs a really clean final sector. Long way up the hill to the line. Is it going to be enough?
No, it isn't.
It's not. Now, pitting is the 46 BMW. Ian James in 27, the heart of racing Aston, the blue Aston Martin, 12th place.
Has to find a couple of hundredths to get above the line here. Has he managed to do it? Yes, he has. Up into 9th place, shuffles the 81 Corvette to 10th and puts the 46 car into the elimination zone.
Francois Heriot comes across the line with 2 disappointing sectors. Only 12th, no improvement. Andrew Gilbert, though, in that 60 Mercedes, down in 15th place. 2 green sectors.
So much better lap from Andrew. Putting himself into contention to get there, but running out of time to do so.
And maybe also, Darren, running out of tyre to do so as well. We're still seeing green sectors, which means better than your own previous best. Bernardo Souza here.
Could do it. Can Souza get the number 77 Mustang in? Not quite. But the 78 Lexus does go in, and that puts the 81 Corvette out for the moment. Both Corvettes out of Hyperpole with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
Both Corvettes, both Ferraris.
Watch Ben Keating, though. This is a better lap for the number 33 car.
I mean, both BMWs are out. So 54 now, down to the drop zone.
81 Corvette in. Ben Keating coming towards the line. Is this enough for the 33 car that has led the championship? Across the line, where does that put the 33? They're both in. 7th and 8th for the 2 Corvettes. 81 and 7th. And the 33 in 8th, and tiny margin between the 2 of them. That puts both Ferraris into the drop zone now.
So Anthony McIntosh is the man on the bubble. And what about the 21 car, Francois Heriot? No, that's not happening for him, is it?
He'll get one more go.
2 disappointing segments.
0.852 of a second separates the top 10. It's 200th of a second, the gap between the number 10 Aston Martin and the 54 Ferrari, but the difference is the former is in, the latter is out of Hyperpole at the moment.
Yeah, with the white nose, Bernardo Souza, 77 Mustang, that's not got the pace. Ryan Hardwick, this could be really important for that turquoise Porsche though. Championship leaders, they don't want to lose out on a top 10 starting position. Hardwick needs to make this lap work. Is he going to be close? He's about half a second away on his previous best. Let's see if it's enough to move him into the top 10 for the moment. No.
It's not. And Ian James is going to be next to take on the challenge. No improvement in the first sector, and he's not got time to get anything other than this lap in. Is the 27 car going to drop out of Hyperpole?
Interesting the way that the cars make their pace. Some of them will be quicker in Sector 2 maybe than Sector 3 or Sector 1. But Ian James not quicker in either sector so far, so this is not going to be enough to put the 27 Aston into the top 10.
12th is as good as it gets.
Didn't improve as he takes the checkered flag.
And he's the first, or the second to do so. The 59 McLaren, they're safe in second.
Okay, last shot for Thomas Floor. He's just outside. He needs to find 200 so he pits.
He's given it up.
He needed to improve 200s on his previous best, but neither of the first or second segment were better.
Watch Bernardo Souza though, he's got a better second sector, and that's the critical sector. It's the longest sector on the track into the final run to the flag now. Could he rocket up from 16th into the top 10?
Well, it's probably not going to be the top 10, but he will move himself up on the grid, because don't forget, outside of the top 10 positions, that's where you finish. He did not improve, and Ryan Hardwick, last shot to try and get the championship leading Porsche into Hyperpole. It would be the expense of the number 10 Aston. No, he's into the pits as well. So had he already passed the checkered flag? No, he hadn't.
With all of the cars from 11th down to 18th having either passed the checkered flag or pitted, we can now tell you the 10 cars that will be going into Hyperpole. 87 Lexus does so with the fastest time of the session.
Well, actually, what we can't tell you is where they're going to end up. What we can tell you is the grid positions from 11th down to 18th, because those are what is currently set. So going through into Hyperpole, now the bronze driver steps out and the silver graded driver gets in to do the Hyperpole run. When we're in Hypercar, there's no such restrictions. You can throw whoever you want in it. You don't have to use 2 drivers. You can use 2 drivers, it doesn't matter. But here, there are regulations on what grade of driver. There's Francois Heriot, and the body language, I think, tells you everything you need to know. He has not looked an entirely happy camper this weekend. The Ferrari struggling for pace, and they're struggling to make this new tyre work as well.
Neither Ferrari made the cut, neither did either of the BMWs, and on top of that, the 27 Aston Martin, the 92 Porsche are championship leaders, 77 Ford and the 60 Mercedes AMG didn't make it either. But Thomas Fleur, he is disappointed as well.
So top 2 in the LMGT3 Championship are going to be starting in 13th and 15th. The 92 Manthey Porsche leads. 21 Vista AF Corsa Ferrari is in second. Third in the standings, still in 8th place after that run from Ben Keating, is the number 33 Corvette. Yeah. Then 27, 4th place in the points, also starting as the top 10. So this is a golden opportunity now for the 33 Corvette crew to creep a little bit closer. Now, this is qualifying. It's not what they're going to end up with points for in the race, but it does give them a shot of starting at least ahead.
Should say, by the way, congratulations to Tony McIntosh, makes Hyperpole on his first attempt in the FIA World Endurance Championship. 46 car, though, the sister car does not.
And Andrew Gilbert under investigation for speeding in the pit lane.
Well, there's your fastest driver in that session, Petru Andrescu, in the 87 Lexus. Both Lexus made it through. So too did both McLarens and both Corvettes, and it's one apiece from the Ford Mustang, the Mercedes AMG, the Porsche and the Aston Martin, and they are the 11th to 18th, as Martin Haven quite rightly says, grid slots, as well as the positions that did not make it into Hyperpole today.
Yep. So the number 60 Mercedes, if Andrew Gilbert has sped in the pit lane, that will lose its qualifying times and it will drop one spot back. So Ryan Hardwick, all right, well, the job is done for the moment. We'll catch up with our championship leader. And now it's about the hard slog of the race for that crew.
I am with Ryan Hardwick, driver of the 92 Porsche, leader of the championship, winner of Le Mans. Well, this qualifying was not so good. Can you explain why?
You said it yourself, those two reasons. Because we're championship leaders and also winners of the last race at Le Mans, we're carrying quite a lot of success ballast. It's part of this championship. It's part of the reward you get for winning races and being up front. But we're just really heavy, and here at Interlagos, it really hurts with our car, the lap time. We lose a lot of time coming out of the final corner and going up the hill, but it's all okay. I really want to congratulate, my sister car, the Iron Dames, their first time in Hyperpole. They don't have any of the success ballast, so they're really showing the true speed of the Porsche. So our team, we're going to take what we have. It looks like our other championship contenders are also a bit in the back, so it's just part of, being successful in this championship.
I saw you pointing the Ferraris that were not as well in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're also carrying a lot of weight too, so it's the same for them, So, I guess it's one thing that makes this championship special. I currently wish, like we didn't have to have this success ballast, but hey, I love this circuit. I love coming here to Brazil. It's my second time coming here. I love the track. I love the fans. I mean, I couldn't be happier, It's tough not being in Hyperpole. I think it's one of our first ones not making it, but hey, it's a long race. A lot can happen in these races. We're still very confident for a good result, but yeah, just happy to be here.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Martin, I can tell you the two things that, whilst Ryan absolutely wanted to be in Hyperpole, the two things he's pleased he's already got, though, are the points lead and a Le Mans win.
Yep.
Those are two mighty fine offsets to carrying that success ballast. And as he quite rightly says, it's part of the championship. This is part of the way in which everything is balanced out and what the regulations giveth. At some point, the regulations will taketh away. Front of the queue for the Hyperpole is the 85 Iron Dames car. Another first in Hyperpole for the season. That's a remarkable stat, isn't it, really?
Yep. Darren Leon looking a little bit downcast there. The McLaren driver.
Done very well in that first session.
So Celia Martin there on the right-hand side, Ryan Hardwick, and sitting in the chair, Michelle Gatting. So that leaves
1 minute, under 1 minute to the start of Hyperpole LMGT3 session. Under 1 minute.
That leaves Rahul Fry as the remaining Iron Dames driver that wasn't in that shot, and that's because she's in the car getting ready to go.
Lots of fans here to see this session this afternoon. Great to see Interlagos as busy as it is today. It'll be busier still tomorrow.
It's a great track, isn't it? It's got lots of undulation, lots of challenging corners, but there's history seeping out of every
30 seconds to the start of the Hyperpole LMGT3 qualifying session.
I always think it's a little bit like Monza. It's got years and years of history.
15 seconds to the start of the Hyperpole LMGT3 qualifying session. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is open. Pit exit is open. This is the Hyperpole LMGT3 qualifying session.
So this is the session that decides the top 10 spots on the grid. Two bright yellow Corvettes head out. You can see the black number 60 for 61 Mercedes waiting to go. 95 McLaren heading down the pit exit lane as well.
Darren, you've been part of full pro factory efforts for many years. You've also done a fair amount of Pro-Am, this changed this year to the Hyperpole contest, putting in the silver drivers, experienced drivers as well as some real young pros coming. Just ups the tempo for this session, ups the pressure level, but also gives the teams and the drivers an opportunity to show off that talent.
Absolutely. I really like the format, you know, having the bronze driver ultimately having their moment in the light to sort of do their performance in qualifying, and then your up-and-coming next generation silver drivers coming along and also having that. The pro drivers, they make their money come race day, you know, that's their time to shine. But it's really nice, this format, that gives them, both the bronze and the silver, an opportunity to have a moment with the car when it's at its absolute peak. What we're looking at with the sort of lap times from the first session was most were hitting the target on lap 4 or 5, and third lap was probably a build-up lap. I can imagine that the silver drivers are going to be pushing a little bit harder, so we could see the lap times coming on lap 3 and 4 rather than 4 and 5. So we might see the peak then going after lap 5 itself. So it'd be interesting to see what the prep's like and the outlap and the sort of lap times that they're sort of achieving on the first 2 outlaps, and if they're a bit quicker.
Rahul Fry is going to be crossing the line first to start the first flying lap, Martin.
Yeah, and you just saw James Costigan and Daniel Young looking fairly happy in the garage. This, of course, was the scene of the first World Championship Sports Car Racing Pro podium from McLaren. At last year's race, they finished in 3rd place, and they locked out the front row in Qatar as well to start the season. Could they get themselves on top of the pile? It didn't look like they were quite that quick. The other thing that's a little bit of a surprise is that in free practice, both Lexus cars looked very quick. One lap pace maybe not quite their forte though.
Well, it's a bit of wait and see. Remember, this is no Hyperpole. No longer are we transfixed by who's 10th and 11th. It's all about the #1 spot.
Don't forget, as well as full access, you can head to the YouTube channel, the WC YouTube channel, and watch the WEC Icons series, new series this season, telling you all about the various different manufacturer cars that are racing in the championship. So lots more content on the WEC YouTube channel, as well as the 24 du Mans YouTube channel. So Rahul Fry, as you would expect, on her first flying lap with green sectors. The green sector is one that is the best for that car, and a yellow sector would be not as good as the best. A purple sector will be outright fastest.
Rahul not hanging around here. First out onto track, she will top the times. It's a 1:35.570 is the marker at this stage.
Rui Andrade, the Corvette, car number 81. And then Johnny Edgar in 33. It was Johnny, who we believe, who set the fastest time in FP3. As the Corvette topped the timesheets. Gianmarco Leverato, 3rd fastest in the Proton Racing Ford Mustang.
And you can really see the difference in approaches, with some people going like 5-6 seconds off the pace on their first time lap, going for a real slow build-up lap and then pushing. And obviously Iron Dame's going pretty much on it from the moment, taking the start-finish line for that first flying lap.
Putting down that marker, hoping to put the rest under pressure. Still yet another purple sector from Rahel in sector 1 to try to improve on that 1:35.5.
Young Lynn Herdanius going 3rd fastest in the 61 Iron Lynx Mercedes.
And to watch, by the way, here, Racing Spirit Le Mans, the number 10 car, Eduardo Barrichello, hometown hero, of course. And it's been flying this weekend so far as well. There is
Absolutely. I mean, topped FP2 with a cracking time in that session, and obviously dialed himself really into this car now, and especially at this circuit.
He's gone purple in the first sector of this lap. What can he do in sector 2? Rahel Fry looking to improve her previous best time very considerably, and does so. 1:34.433 is her best offer.
Eduardo Barrichello now purple in sector 1 and sector 2. So unless the Aston Martin doesn't climb the hill well, this should be the fastest lap.
Could be under 1:34 here. And Gianmarco Leverato sets the 2nd fastest lap time of the session, but here comes Eduardo Barrichello to take it away from them, does so by a chunk. It's 0.360 better, 1:33.867. That's now the time to beat Racing Spirit Le Mans. The number 10 Aston Martin goes to the top.
Sean Gelael jumps into second in the McLaren, and then 61 up to third, Lynn Herdanius in the Mercedes, pushing Rahal Frey down to fourth place. And this is a slower lap from her. Opportunity maybe just to cool the tyres a fraction and see if there's a little more left in the tank.
Kevin Schmidt puts the 87 Lexus second quickest, just 6,000 to a second back from the Aston Martin. It's super close at the top.
And Finn Gersitz in the 78 Lexus goes third fastest. He's 2800s back. Rahal Frey, it's not going to be an improvement. Not close to at the moment. They're on the outside of row 3 of the grid. So it's what we saw in free practice, the battle between the Lexus and the Aston Martin.
Well, if that was the cool-down lap for Rahal Frey, there's another one to come. Meanwhile, I can tell you Eduardo Barrichello is motoring. He's up, or was up rather, on his previous best time. I think he may have found a bit of trouble in sector 2. It's not going to be an improvement for the Brazilian. Who else could be in the mix? And one of them is Lynn Herdanius in the 61 Iron Lynx AMG. He's going very quickly indeed, as is Clement Schmidt, as is Finn Gersitz.
Yeah, both Lexus are on improved laps. Lynn Herdanius on a much improved lap, and with a CV before he came into the World Championship, very up to third fastest. Very limited amount of race driving. He's really grown into this role.
Powering to the end of the lap comes the Lexus.
Again, both losing time in sector 2 compared to their previous best.
Bleeding about 2-3 tenths each of those cars.
Wow, and a purple sector to end the lap.
6,000
still
off.
Fastest. They are still second and third. Now, what about the 59 McLaren? That's the one down in 9th place. Sebastian Boe at the wheel. Comes across the line, up 1. So the Corvettes are now shuffled back to row 5 of the grid.
Keep an eye on who's motoring here. One to watch is Sean Gelael. I'm sure we'll see that pop up shortly. At the moment, 6 tenths off, but he's quicker than he's been before in the first sector.
Yeah, currently on target to go fastest, but loses 3 tenths in sector 2.
There's time still to be found here, but they are beginning to struggle in that second sector, Darren. All seem to be bleeding several tenths there.
Yeah, it's the hardest part on the tyre, isn't it? That is where all the work's going on with the middle sector. And I mean, this might be good in the last sector because he's got a toe, but it's not on his way.
Stays fifth. 3.5 tenths off.
Clement Schmidt is on target for pole in the 87 Lexus. He's purple sector 1. Finn Gersitz is not quite as quick. He's 19 thousandths slower.
Barrichello, by the way, improved his time by just a smidgen. What is that?
18 thousandths, because
yes,
he was 6 thousandths ahead. He's now 24 thousandths ahead.
So the new target is 1:33.849, and that, together with Clement Schmidt losing a bit of time, he's under 2 tenths off, but it's not going to be good enough. Here comes Finn Gersitz in the other Lexus, the 78 car. He too.
Yeah, not an
Does make an
improvement.
improvement. It is an improvement for Gersitz, but he's third.
Yeah.
Meantime, Barrichello, purple in sector 1, looking to try to put this out of reach. 35 seconds to go. Looking to see whether or not anybody else on this final flying lap could challenge.
Can you imagine the smile on Dad's face if Eduardo Barrichello puts it on pole here in Brazil? Rui Andrade, green sector 1, not good sector 2. Eduardo Barrichello, he already has pole position. He's gone purple in sector 1, lost a bit of time, and he's been pinged for track limits as well. So that lap won't count.
Don't count out the 2 Lexus here, and don't count out either Lynn Herdanius in the 61 Iron Lynx car. That's what we need to keep an eye on.
Checker flag is out. The first car to see the checker flag is car 18.
Right.
This car into sector 3 is up on the pole time at the moment. As he comes over the line, can he do it?
From 4th place to
No
improvement. So it was a slightly better lap, but it was not higher up the order. But that is the best Mercedes qualifying of the season.
Lyndon Enius in that session, Martin Berry in the earlier session.
In fact, that equals their best grid spot. They did have 4th place at Le Mans in qualifying.
But Eduardo Barrichello it is that is going to be.
He takes the checkered flag.
Pole position here at Interlagos, the one home driver in that session. And Aston Martin, Racing Spirit of Le Mans, Eduardo Barrichello and Tony McIntosh claim it, but the pole claimed by young second-generation racer, and that'll be very popular with the crowd here in Interlagos.
Yeah, there's going to be a very happy Rubens, isn't there? He's just so thrilled that his son has managed to make it up into World Championship racing, and a first pole position for him, for the team, and it's here in Brazil. Darren Turner, people often say, well, British drivers, of course, you must know Silverstone Grand Prix circuit intimately. You don't often race on the Grand Prix circuit, and it's the same for the Brazilians here. You know, Interlagos does not get used every week by national racing.
Yeah, I mean, that little bit of local knowledge, it does go a long way. My benefit at Silverstone was I used to work there at the racing school, so spent a lot of time going around Silverstone circuit, and yeah, it did help on a few occasions having that bit of local knowledge. But you're right, a lot of the Grand Prix tracks are not used regularly by national racing, so you can come from the country, but maybe only ever have raced on that circuit once or twice in your whole career. So a superb effort there from Barrichello to put the car on pole, and yeah, great. That's obviously from my side. It's a pole position for Aston at Le Mans, and now they followed it on here in Brazil. So fantastic from that side.
Yeah, 6.5 tenths, just over 6.5 tenths separated the top 9 in that session. So super close. 24 thousandths of a second separated Eduardo Barrichello from Clement Schmidt for pole position.
The really interesting bit, and I didn't make sense to me at the beginning, was when the tyres were coming in, and it could be because it's on the Goodyear hard. It's coming later and later and later. It's not, they're not being able to turn it on as early as they possibly could with the medium. So to see purple sectors still on lap 6, it means that the tyre is definitely lasting a little bit longer.
And interesting also, the first 4 cars on outright pace are front-engined, and maybe that helped them get heat into the tyre early enough in its life cycle. Eduardo Barrichello takes pole position for Racing Spirit of Le Mans in the number 10 Aston Martin. Right, we're going to get down to the Lexus team with Bruce Schwani and hear from Michael Krum, another racing legend.
Well, actually, there's a very well-known face here in the paddock at Lexus. It's Michael Krum. Michael, who's a racing legend in Europe, in Japan, so much experience. And you're actually giving advice to the team here, and you're as an advisor. It's a very good result. P2, P3, not pole position, but a great success.
Yeah, we are very happy. We had a little bit problems yesterday with the pace, but very excited. I mean, I'm happy for Barrichello, to his hometown, to be on pole. Congratulations to them, fantastic. But we're going to take them on in the race. We believe we have a good race pace, and starting from second and third, it's really a dream. So it's perfect. Looking forward to the race.
Yes. Good luck for tomorrow. Thank you so much, and super happy to see you here.
Thank you very much, you too.
Yeah, it's Michael Krum, what a legend.
Proper Japanese racing legend, isn't he?
There you go, there's the classification.
Yeah, so Aston Martin, Racing Spirit of Le Mans on pole position with the Lexus in either mirror, undoubtedly heading down into turn 1. And the 61 Mercedes, they equal their best qualifying result of the season. McLaren on row 3 of the grid, 95 ahead of 59. Then the Iron Dames on row 4 with the 88 Mustang alongside. And it's an all-Corvette row 5 of the grid, 33 just outpacing the 81 machine. Johnny Edgar and Rui Andrade doing the qualifying runs there. So there is your pole man. That's not a bad place to take pole in your first season in a World Championship at home in Brazil.
Great to see. Great to see the smiles.
Well, his dad could never deny that he was responsible for that smile, could he? That's the Rubens smile. So I'm not actually sure if Rubens is here today, but I'm sure there'll be no keeping him away tomorrow.
Yeah, proud moment for that young man. No doubt at all about it, and for the Barrichello family. And that has indeed gone down very well indeed.
And next up, we take off our LMGT3 caps and we put on our Hypercar caps. So Porsche fastest in free practice 1 and 2, and then slowest in FP3 after setting laps very early on, and then I think focusing on their race pace. Aston Martin's Valkyrie in the top 5 in free practice 2. Both cars were in the top 10, so they could be in the mix for another shot at Hyperpole.
Again, a lot of unknowns here with, what, 3.5 minutes from the start of this session.
And just to throw it back 12 months, it was a front row lockout for Toyota in Hypercar here last year. That would be a big surprise if that were to happen again.
Yeah, 2024 Hyperpole time, 1:23.140. Look for something around that time. I guess it walks through the shots, getting back to his team, but focus now shifts entirely to Hypercars. 18 cars are going to go, remember, and again, remember this session, it's about the drop zone. It's about who's at the bottom, not who's at the top.
3 minutes until the session gets underway. And cars already heading out to the end of pit road.
So Peugeot, after a troubled start to this season, what can they do?
Very upbeat Loic Duval here this weekend. And this weekend we are using the medium and the hard tyre options from Michelin. Hopefully won't be using the wet, but of course both Michelin and Goodyear have brought wet weather tyres here. Let's see what we can glean from the teams.
Weather update, so the wind is still headwind into turn 1, and wind speed is 10 kph. So we expect the front ride height to be around half a mil lower at the end of straight.
Before we get into track action, just a quick moment to remind you, if you're enjoying the show on TV and you're in the position to be at any of our races, still to come this year in Austin, tickets still available for Cota in September, as well as Fuji and Bahrain. You would be more than welcome at any or all of them for unmatched access at this level in World Championship racing.
And if you're a sports car racing fan who missed out on the Ford versus Ferrari years of the 60s, who might have missed out on the Group 5 era of the 70s and 80s, if you missed out on Group C, do not miss out on this era of Hypercar and LMGT3. This is absolutely platinum standard competition.
1 minute, under 1 minute to the start of the Hypercar qualifying session. Under 1 minute.
Again, all 18 cars out on track together. Only the top 10 go through to Hyperpole.
Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Ferrari, who've dominated the season? Porsche have been quick here. Aston Martin in the mix. BMW has shown pace. Alpine had a poor Le Mans maybe, but shown pace to that point. And the Cadillacs.
30 seconds to the start of the Hypercar qualifying session.
Only at Le Mans was there not a Ferrari on pole this season. It was the number 12 Caddy.
15 seconds to the start of the session. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is now open. Pit exit is now open. This is the start of the Hypercar qualifying session.
12 minutes starts to tick down. And 1 or 2 cars being held. A little bit of a gap in traffic here, but the majority of the field stalks out, I think we'll call it. Stunning looking pair of Aston Martin Valkyries. Unmistakable. They go the Totas.
Yeah, the great thing about the Valkyrie is you can see it with your ears as well as your eyes. I mean, they all have their distinctive engine notes, and let's face it, you know, the Caddy's not exactly shy and retiring either in terms of the noise it makes, but the Aston Martin is an entirely different kettle of fish.
So remember, from the Pro-Am aspect of LMGT3, it's full pro this session, and a galaxy of talent on track.
Well, you can see how much it's hard work at the wheel when it's cold tyres twitching around already through turn 6 and 7. It's always that sort of balancing act of how much do I push when I haven't got the grip. I've got to put the energy into the car and get these tyres up to temperature, and it's a difficult line to tread.
We talk to the drivers often about these cars, and the comparisons that are very often drawn with perhaps the more elder statesmen in this field are very often with GT1. Yeah, big aero, big monstrous power, and you can see that in the way that they have to hustle these cars.
Yeah, but the simplicity of GT1 was easy back then. Very easy. You had a sequential gearbox. You just pulled the lever, and you just had a bit of a heel and toe and stuff like that. There wasn't any of the electronics to deal with at all. So, yeah, the capacity that these drivers are all operating at now, with everything they have to manage inside the car, is truly amazing.
18 hypercars it is. 8 factory teams. 8 factory teams. It still beggars belief. And the 2 privately entered cars, the 83 car, a Le Mans winning car.
8 factory teams already, 8 manufacturers, and they are queuing up and trying to kick the door in to come join as well, aren't they?
They are indeed. The first public sight of both the Genesis and the McLaren. Genesis coming in 26, McLaren 27, together with Ford. What an era.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're any way interested in sports car racing, get yourself to a track. Whatever it takes. It's worth every moment, worth every penny.
I was super surprised with that radio message just before it went green for this session about the 10k headwind and the difference of ½ a mil that it's going to make on the front ride height, and the drivers need to know that, you know, how critical that is going to be to their balance, and it just shows what sort of knife edge these cars are set up on.
And the drivers are working on adjusting the car as well as they're there to try and make sure they get every iota of performance out of it. It's going to be a couple of laps before we really see a push. You see they're still weaving along the straight, trying to work heat into those front tyres.
Time's coming, but these are not significant times quite yet.
Now, Dries van Toor currently at the top of the pile, but you see the number 15 BMW going very slowly there. This is Nico Varone, he's in the 99 Proton competition Porsche.
Yeah, Dries van Toor's going to be one to watch here this afternoon, no doubt about it. Seems to be able to squeeze pace out of that car quicker than many of his teammates. He's something of a talismanic figure with the BMW M-Team WRT squad. Alex Lynn developing the same kind of attitude, and with the Cadillac Hertz Team Jota squad.
Busy hands in that number 5 Porsche for Julian Andlauer. Even 2 laps in, he's soaring away at the wheel trying to get the wretched thing to turn. Look at it, just twitching all over the place. So everybody on the medium tyre. Doesn't matter if it doesn't last, because you only need to get 2 or 3 quick laps out of it. Let's look at the times then. Julian Andlauer, well, he's purple in Sector 2, and a better Sector 1 than he's produced. Alex Lynn also green Sector 1, that's quicker than he's gone. Andlauer to the top of the pile. Lynn not so good in Sector 2, so let's turn our attention to the Aston Martin of Alex Riberas. Purple Sector 1, purple Sector 2.
He's hustling here. This is coming down to a more representative time, and he's going to atomise the 1:27.357 if he gets a clear run into and through Sector 3. And now it goes to the top with a 1:24.234. That's a significant time. Riberas, though, 1:24.234.
Okay, red flag now for Darren Turner.
Aston Martin 1-2.
I think we've seen enough, haven't we?
Stop the cat. Yeah, I think that did nicely.
But let's look at the elimination zone, because 2 of the 3 Ferraris are still there. We're not up to full speed for very many of these cars, but that's got to be a moment that's going to do the Aston Martin squad's morale.
Yeah.
Power of good.
And you could see, I didn't know whether that was 007 or 009, but going very slowly then after that quick lap. And we saw that with the number 15 BMW as well. Slowed down immediately, so it's a push lap, then a cool lap, then a push lap. What about Robert Kubica, our Le Mans winners?
Yeah.
No improvement there. Stays in 17th place. Sheldon van der Linde in the 20 BMW. It's a better lap from him.
It is indeed. It's green. He's certainly been up into the qualifying zone for Hyperpole on this pace for Sheldon.
Well, still 2 Ferraris and 1 of the Toyotas have not made an impact on the top 10.
Van der Linde up to 3rd. That's just behind Dries van Torres, just improved to 2nd. Alex Rindling goes to the top at the moment, puts the 12 caddy well out of trouble ahead of Julian Andlauer.
Improvement for Giovinazzi. 51 car is our championship leading crew. They lead from 83. The 83 Ferrari currently last.
Yeah, and the times almost bookended by the caddies at the moment. The 12 at the top, the 38 almost at the bottom. The 51 goes up into Hyperpole zone.
Yep.
That puts the 99 Proton Porsche into the elimination zone. It's joined by both Alpines, both Peugeots, the number 8 Toyota, the 38 Caddy, and the 83 Le Mans winning Ferrari.
Better laps coming from both Malte Jakobsen and Paul Di Resta. Do both Peugeots jump up? Well, Di Resta does, 2nd quickest. Malte Jakobsen coming up behind him. No, disappointing lap remains in 16th.
Nelta's first go at qualifying for this team. Good to see that they're giving him that responsibility.
And looking back at Alex's lap, it's the first one under the 23 seconds, 1 minute 23, 3 tenths quicker than last year's qualifying.
It's a statement, isn't it?
That's a big lap. You know,
Right.
4 tenths clear of everyone else at the moment, so incredible lap. Like what he did in Le Mans as well.
Alex Riberas has just lost his last lap. He's now down in 11th place in the 009 Aston. Track limits there. Track limits also for Kamui Kobayashi. So the number 7 Toyota has been bounced out, and a better lap didn't have a chance because he ran out too wide.
All 3 Ferraris now into the Hyperpole zone, and the progress of times noted by, we had both of the Aston Martins 1 and 2 just in the 009 recover back into Hyperpole zone at the expense of the 83 Ferrari. They sit at the moment, the Aston Martins, 8th and 10th in the danger zone.
99 Porsche moved up ahead of the Ferrari. What about Sebastian Bourdais, 38?
He's at the moment 18th, but improving on both of the sectors so far. He's powering towards the line. Where is this going to leave him?
It will likely bounce out the 51 Ferrari, it does. So he moves up into the lead group, and the number 12 Caddy goes to the top of the pile, so 007 Aston's out as well. Peugeot second and third.
It's 94 and 93 now. Jakobsen 2nd quickest. What a lap from him.
Good
so,
stuff.
Caddy from the 2 Peugeots, but it's the 007 and 009 Aston Martins now both in the elimination zone, as are the 51 and the 83 Ferrari and the 99 Porsche, the 7 Toyota rather than the 8 now, and both Alpines.
The key here is 51, the championship leaders with Antonio Giovinazzi, and 83, 2nd in the championship, the yellow Ferrari with Robert Kubica, both out of Hyperpole. So this is the last shot. There's 2.5 minutes remaining. This is not a good enough lap from Giovinazzi. He's going to have to bail on that one, but he can't go too slow because he needs to be able to get to the line in time to start another push lap.
Both Aston Martins improve, and that puts the 009 into Hyperpole at the expense of the 50 Ferrari. The 007 improves to 11th. Watch Mick Schumacher. He's currently propping up the times, but at the moment is on track to get into the top 10. We'll keep an eye on that lap. Under 2 minutes to go. Here comes the 51 Ferrari for their latest crack at this. Has it been enough?
No, it was a slow build-up. This is building up to the lap. This has to be the one for Jovi. in the drop zone, number 8 Toyota has pitted. So they've got what they've got, and if it's enough, it's enough, and if it isn't, it isn't. 009 is still out there, the Aston. Kabayashi's got nothing. 18th place. 18th place. I sense we might get another sarcastic interview.
It's half a second between the 8 and the 7. No excuses, I'm afraid, when you've got a difference between the two team cars like that.
Yeah. He just
the 8 car, by the way, has pitted.
Hasn't had the run, yeah. 8 is pitted, and that means that they are vulnerable if the 51 Ferrari and or the 50 Ferrari put a lap together.
Giovinazzi on a good lap at the moment.
Well, that's the one that has to count.
Has to.
And Antonio Fuoco is not. Now, the danger for Giovinazzi is all the cars who are not on a lap. Giovinazzi, a better first sector than he's produced at any stage so far. This needs to be a good lap. So that's Schumacher just in front of him in the Alpine. Not great in sector 2. What about Kubica, the top 2 in the championship you're looking at on the bottom of the screen? And Giovinazzi didn't get held up on the way to the line by the Alpine, which looks like it's going for another tilt at this. Giovinazzi is not in.
What about Kubica up on his time? 17th at the moment, but green in sector 1. Sector 2 is going to be the critical moment for the 83 car. At the moment, none of the Ferraris are in Hyperpole, and we've got 6 seconds left on the clock. It's this and nothing else for Robert Kubica. He's 6/10 off in terms of the delta, with just the short third sector to complete the lap with. Can he do enough? Here he comes down towards the finish line. Can he put the 83 into Hyperpole?
Looks good enough. It'll bump out 009 if he does. He takes the checkered flag. It bumps out 009. Now, who else is on a quick lap? Not enough from Harry Tincknell. Nico Varone, probably not enough.
Fuoco's on a quick lap.
Number 8 Toyota might stay in, but yeah, the 50 Ferrari. And again, 51 is the leg out of bed for Ferrari. They're having a terrible time.
Into the pits comes the Aston Martin.
Yep.
That's 007. No chance for an improvement there. Here comes the 99. Hands of Nico Varone. Close but no cigar for him. Paulo Chatan from 15th. He's looking to nail it in. So too is Antonio Fuoco.
Middle sector not so good. Fuoco, sector 1 not so good. I wonder if he caught traffic there as well.
Fuoco's only a 10th off, so it's all about what is his second sector like. And the answer is he's nowhere with that. It's not going to be improvement for Antonio Fuoco.
No, he's cruising gently up the hill, so the number 8 Toyota is in, but out are 009 and 007. Out 2 is 99. Both of the red factory Ferraris fail to make Hyperpole. That's the first time this season that has happened. So 50 and 51, neither Alpine goes through. And the number 7 Toyota, I have no idea what was going on there.
Cars 38, Sebastian Bourdais, and 93 from Paul Di Resta, under investigation for possible impeding.
Now, don't forget, that's what got Marco Sorensen into Hyperpole at Le Mans.
And both those cars at the moment are in the Hyperpole standings. As things stand at the moment, in the elimination zone, the 009 Aston Martin, the 99 Proton Porsche, the 007 Aston Martin, the 50 factory Ferrari, the 36 and 35 Alpines, the 51 factory Ferrari. So at the moment, only the 83, the privately entered car, into Hyperpole, and the 7 Toyota props up the times.
So the 2 new Aston Martin Valkyries have out-qualified both Le Mans winning Ferraris, 50 and 51, from 2024 and 2023, and the number 7 Toyota, the previous benchmark in the championship, the Toyota. Okay, the number 8 car was just ahead of them, but just, and that's a measure of how far the Valkyrie program has come since the start of the season, that they're actually able to start wrestling qualifying times out of it rather than just trying to get it to the end of a race.
We've got the ideal guy to ask the question. They've not made Hyperpole at the moment, but that must be, Darren Turner, a big push for the Aston Martins. We'll wait because we're going to go down to Bruce, who's got Nicholas Nielsen with him, but we'll ask Darren for an Aston Martin reaction shortly.
I am with Niklas Nielsen, driver of the car number 50. Antonio Fuoco was at the wheel. It's a difficult result for Ferrari right now, for both cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was to be expected, to be honest. Antonio was on a good lap, and then he caught one of the Porsches in the last corner, and that really honestly messed up the quali. But yeah, I mean, both cars out, the 83 is in, so I think it was possible to go in, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But like I said, I think if you look at the Toyotas as well, they struggled. So I think with the changes done for this race, I think it was to be expected.
What do you think that you can do during the race?
To win the race, I think we need a miracle. Luckily, the cars seem to be performing okay on the race pace, but you know, here, starting from the back, it's going to be very difficult to pass the other cars. So I don't know. We hope for some good luck tomorrow, and then we see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now that Porsche he's referring to might well have been the Proton car of Nico Varrone, who is under investigation for possible impeding in turn 13, that long uphill corner.
Just want to go back to that question. We'll see here some shots of the Ferrari. Darren, that's a big performance for the Aston Martins here.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, that the whole sort of development program pre-Le Mans, what they achieved at Le Mans, and then obviously now there's a small chance of making it into Hyperpole as well, depending on what happens with these investigations. But they're just closing in to the ultimate pace, and to be ahead of the two works Ferraris is
Possibility
fantastic.
both might get in a Hyperpole. We've got 3 cars under investigation, 2 are in Hyperpole, and 1 is the car that separates the 2 Aston Martins.
Let's hope the stewards...
Well, we are hearing, by the way, Hyperpole may be delayed. Information as soon as possible.
Because
that will be because they'll want to sort that out.
Now, in the stewards' room, of course, the driver advisor is entirely impartial.
No, put aside that for a moment. Controversial. Just wanted to point out the gaps, and in particular the gap from 10th, who are currently in, that is the number 8 car from Ria Hirakawa. That's a 1:23.673, 0.844 of a second off of the top time in that session. The next 5 cars are less than a 1/10 of a second outside that. That's how tight that was.
Yeah, and it's absolutely the races. You have to operate the car absolutely 100% for 100% of the time. This is not endurance in the old way where you have to take care of the car and get it through to the end. This is endurance in the modern way, is you've somehow got to survive as a driver running the car on its absolute limit at all times, and that means on your absolute limit as well. Now, as of now, if there are no changes, 11th and 13th on the grid for the Valkyries, both have qualified higher than any of the Valkyries have qualified. Previous to this, 15th at Le Mans was the best Valkyrie qualifying position. Don't look at me like that. 16th and 18th in Qatar, 16th and 17th in Imola, 17th and 18th in Spa, 20th and 15th at Le Mans. So they have comfortably out-qualified themselves. Don't forget, at Le Mans, it wasn't the top 10 that went through.
Top 15.
Yep. You were looking at me with that
was
look
what was confusing me.
when I'm normally talking from the wrong end. But I've got it written down on a piece of paper.
We're waiting for Hyperpole.
Yeah, and this is real pressure on the stewards because they have to make a decision now. They can't look at it afterwards. They have to make a decision because it will very possibly materially affect who goes out. The good news is the tyres aren't sitting there getting cold, so it won't actually affect the performance of the cars, but it might affect who gets to go through. So Nico Varrone, the number 99 Proton Porsche, under investigation, but he wasn't in Hyperpole anyway. 38 Sebastian Bourdais in the Cadillac and 93 Paul di Resta in the Peugeot. Both did make it through. So the Caddy is currently 8th and 94 is currently 3rd. So if they have a penalty, it's unlikely that the Peugeot would drop out.
So just a couple of pointers while we wait for this information to come through. You said it yourself a little earlier, Darren. Mighty lap from Alex Lynn to put that just out of reach. Massively impressed, by the way, by the times, whatever happens for the two Peugeots, but in particularly for Milton Jakobsen, his first qualifying effort for the Peugeot team. They must be very pleased indeed with that. Under 4/10 off what was an exceptional effort from Alex Lynn.
A superb effort. Did we even see that happening with the Peugeots? Did we think that was going to, they had that capability? I certainly, in the free practice, didn't think they were in the running for that sort of performance. So, yeah, incredible to see both those cars up there. Alex actually, looking at the lap times, he did 2 laps capable of being fastest and the top of this qualifying session. So it just shows the performance that he was able to extract from that car during this session.
We say again, something of a talisman for that effort, Alex Lynn, and they will be sniffing the possibility of a big result here this weekend. So both the caddies in, both the Peugeots in, both of the Porsches in. Now we've just had the timing screen adjust, and we have seen no changes made at the moment.
So in the queue, Porsche number 5, Porsche number 6, then the number 8 Toyota will go out as well, number 12 and 38 from Hertz Team Jota, 15 and 20 from BMW, and 93 and 94 from Peugeot.
So I just glimpsed the Aston still in the pit lane with people around the car. So they're actually on another screen I can see that they're pushing it back in the garage. So they were 49. Ready. They were ready to have the.
They are the 009. We can see another display here. It'll start 15:49 in about 2 minutes' time. We'll start, and it looks to me like there's going to be no adjustments to this order. So they've taken a look at it and they've decided we're good to go with the 10 we've got.
I'm wondering when there was the last time that Paul di Resta qualified for Peugeot as well. That might have been a while ago. So I'm really impressed. They did not reveal themselves during free practice as potential front row starters.
Well, could there be a huge story here for Peugeot? Could there be a huge story here for young Milton Jakobsen?
I mean, can you just imagine if Peugeot locked out the front row like Toyota did last year? That would just be an astonishing improvement in their qualifying form.
Yeah, Bruce talked to Loic Duval, of course, at P3. He said quietly confident. He had that twinkle in his eye that we remember for so many years with Loic Duval. He brings some real depth to this Peugeot effort.
And they didn't even make Malte Jakobsen pay for dinner last night.
No, they didn't.
Like said, we will do, but not this time. So they weren't ganging up and bullying the kid.
1 minute to the start of the Hypercar Hyperpole qualifying session. Under 1 minute.
Drama. This
I know.
it really is. It's this format it does bring drama with it, and just adds a bit of spice on this qualifying day here. And I'm sure the crowd here in Interlagos are loving it.
I'm not sure who had 2 Peugeots in Hyperpole on their bingo card, but could they let us know this weekend's winning lottery ticket numbers, please?
30 seconds to the start of the Hypercar Hyperpole qualifying session. 15 seconds to the start. 15 seconds to the start of the Hypercar session. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is now open. Pit exit is now open. This is the start of the Hypercar Hyperpole qualifying session.
So the group qualifying is 12 minutes with all 18 cars, but we raised the stakes by reducing the time available for Hyperpole. 10 cars, 10 minutes, top 10 grid positions to be decided.
So it is the 5 and the 6 Porsches. Julian Endler, Kevin Est, the number 8 Tota, Brendan Hartley, the 12 Cadillac in the hands of Alex Lynn, both BMWs, 15 Patrice Vantor, Sheldon van der Linde in the number 20, the 38 Caddy with Seb Bourdais at the wheel, the 83 AF Corsa Ferrari, Robert Kubica, and then the 2 Peugeots. Are they going to be a surprise package? Paul di Resta and Milton Jakobsen.
What do you mean, are they going to be? They already are.
Well,
now, I don't know if the Peugeot team are surprised by this turn of qualifying pace. But if they're not, they might be the only people in the whole of Brazil that aren't. Surprised and actually massively impressed.
Well, we've seen in the free practice sessions, the times have been remarkably close. Some of the gaps absolutely tiny. And are we setting this up, gentlemen, for the race we thought we might get at Le Mans? With the depth of competition in a leading pack, unprecedented. It's possible.
Well, the 93 Peugeot, Paul de Rest is driving that. They were 10th in Qatar, 7th in Imola and Spa, 18th in Le Mans, so they missed out on Hyperpole there. The 94 car, driven by Malte Jakobsen, qualified 12th in Qatar, 11th in Imola, 4th in Spa, had forgotten about that, and 17th at Le Mans. So they have had both cars in Hyperpole at least once, and in Spa both cars were in Hyperpole together.
Clock is ticking down, under 8 minutes to determine who's going to be on pole position here.
I feel like the lap times are going to come maybe 1 lap earlier than this in this Hyperpole session. More because the cars have all been sat in the pit lane, all that heat soak on that second set of tyres. So it just helps bring that tyre in a bit earlier and gives the drivers a bit more of a chance to, with that 2 minutes lost from the session, you just want to get on it a bit quicker. So that heat soak at that moment will pay dividends.
That was being explained to me actually in LMGT3 terms by Darren Leung. He was saying, do you remember in Brazil last year there was a big hold-up before GT3 Hyperpole, and he said we were much quicker than we had been in qualifying for exactly that reason. All the heat sink from the brakes and the engine and everything else helped to preheat the tyre a fraction and just gave them an extra lap before it gave up.
It'll be interesting to see, by the way, with the shorter session, whether or not the time set by Alex Lynn can be matched and bettered in this session. It's not necessarily the case. We'll see a quicker time.
Is this where Porsche now start to produce the pace that we saw in race form? Number 20, Sheldon van der Linde, we ride on board, beginning his second lap. Second flying lap. He's already gone a second quicker than Julian Andlauer and Dries van Tor. Alex Lynn, half a second behind him in the number 12 Caddy.
So the interesting thing here is going to be, what are the sector times going to be on the second flying lap to this car? And the answer is these times are going to come hurtling down.
Yeah, because that will actually be a qualifying lap, whereas this is another sort of warming lap almost.
They're also chasing a cooling track at the moment as well. It's dropped a couple of degrees since qualifying started, so the cloud cover's come over as well. So yeah, they need to sort of maximise the track being at its best with the track temperature and obviously when they can get the tyres turned on.
Kubica topping the times, under 6 minutes to go. This is effectively the first real push lap for all of these cars. I can tell you already, against the 128s, the mid-128s, you're going to be seeing these times coming down by chunks. Sheldon van der Linde is going to be the first with a lap to beat here. It's 125.993 for Kevin Estre. Van der Linde is going to be next across the line and is going to beat that time, I'm sure, and does. It's a 125.450, and from here on in, we can start standing up and raising the tempo.
Each car coming across the line should be quickest. This is Alex Lynn. Doesn't quite get there. Sector 3 didn't work as well for him as he might have hoped. The Cadillac is third. Noticing how much more slowly Ryo Hirakawa was bringing in the tyres of the Toyota. His second, not quite push lap, was 6 seconds slower than everybody else's almost. So he might have a little more to show after these guys have got the best out of their tyre. What about the Porsches? Kevin Est, Julian Andlauer. This is Est.
Est is up on Sheldon van der Linde's fastest time at the moment, but then again, so is Sheldon van der Linde, so is Seb Bourdais, so is Alex Lynn, and so is Julian Andlauer.
Yeah, in fact there are 5 cars currently on target to be quicker than the current pole.
Keeping it on the second sector times at the moment, both the Porsches on really good laps here.
Number 6 Porsche, red with white streaks across the bonnet and down the bodywork and over the roof. And he goes to the top of the pile. Julian Andlauer, number 5 car, that's got the black stripes, and he goes faster now by 3/10.
Into the 22s, here comes Sheldon van der Linde, only second now. So he splits the Porsches.
Alex Lynn, purple sector 2, but the caddy died in sector 3 on the last lap. Does he have enough? He does. Purple sector 3.
1:22.788, Sebastien Bourdais on a flyer as well. Where is the second BMW? 5th and only 5th for Sebastien Bourdais.
What about the Peugeots? Both Malte Jakobsen and Paul de Resta on better laps now, and they need to be, because all they've recorded really are warm-up laps. Same as 83, Robert Kubica, the yellow Ferrari. Van der Linde off throttle, just allowing the car, and you can see the number 5 Porsche in front of him, just allowing the car to cool a little, the tyres to cool a little. And unlike LMGT3, the Hypercar teams know this tyre. It is the same tyre that they used last year, the same tyre they've used this season, so they do know what it will do. For LMGT3, nobody was quite sure. They hadn't really ragged it in qualifying.
Van der Linde, 3rd at the moment, is not going to improve on this lap. Alex Lynn might well do. He's well up on his previous time. In comes Sheldon van der Linde.
Van der Linde's going for another set of tyres.
Don't think he's got time.
He might have. Alex
Seb Bourdais on a cracking lap as well. Watch the 2 caddies. Could this be an all-Cadillac front row this stage?
It could be a caddy lockout. Alex Lynn goes quicker.
1:22.5 for Alex Lynn. What about Bourdais?
That Lynn was not quicker. Yes, he was
second.
Second fastest. Malte Jakobsen, green sector 1. He's currently in 9th. So caddy 1-2.
Jakobsen, where does he sit?
Oh, that's a bit of a handful, isn't it?
He's on course to improve. He's not going to trouble pole position at the moment. He's on course to put this 94 Peugeot significantly further up the road. 4th, cracking lap.
Wow.
Lynn, Bourdais, and now Jakobsen is your 1, 2, 3, 4, with Sheldon van der Linde 5th and on pit lane. And Lauer, what can he do about this? Don't think he's in the zone here. It's not been a great second. He's going to pit the car.
Why is he over the white line there? That's a very strange way of coming into the pit lane. Maybe because they said you've got traffic coming up behind. It was Robert Kubica who was coming up behind him. Not an improvement from Kubica either.
That was a real slow lap from Kubica. I think this is a push lap for the final lap. Here comes Sebastien Bourdais. Who's he got to play with here? Don't think he's quite there on Alex Lynn's pace on this lap.
Well, it's not as good as his previous either, is it? So that's not an improvement. What about Ryo Hirakawa? The Toyota has been silent so far.
Well, it's quicker than he's been before in Sector 1, but it's not pole position pace in Sector 1.
Oh, that's an awful Sector 2 as well. Really falling out of bed here. 9th place. It might be enough to push him up to the top 6, but probably not beyond that. No, not even. What about Kevin Estre in the number 6 Porsche?
It's all about the second sector time here for Kevin Estre. Green in Sector 1, he's a 10th off the delta of the pole position time. Checker flag is out, it's this and nothing else.
Yep.
What can Estre do? He's not going to do it. It's going to be a Cadillac 1-2 here.
The car was dancing away underneath him.
Kubica's on a quick lap, but not going to trouble pole position.
Estre's heading into the pit lane. Can Kubica get himself up into the top couple of rows? No, he can't. 9th on the grid. And Ryo Hirakawa will be on row 5 with him. Wow, caddy 1-2. When have we seen that, Graham? Le Mans.
Le Mans, we did. Sorry, exactly. I was focusing on something else as you asked for the question. Two big positive stories here from qualifying. The first of them is it's a Cadillac 1-2, and again, Alex Lynn produces the result for Cadillac Hurst Team Jota. Cracking one as well for Seb Bourdais to complete the front row. But for me, Melter Jakobsen, fourth in the number 94 Peugeot. That is some result. And I suspect this will not be the last time he's on qualifying duty for Peugeot.
No, I 100% agree with that. And if it is, then they need to sit down with themselves and have a bit of a word. So there are two pole sitting cars. Eduardo Barrichello and Alex Lynn have claimed pole in LMGT3 and in Hypercar.
Yeah, Alex making sure the hair's as it should be.
Still attached. There he is, second pole position in a row this season for Alex Lynn.
Now he wants to convert that into a better race result, wants that so badly for himself and for this team.
Yeah, they want to ignite their season in the second half of the year. That's a good way to start. And the lessons will very much have been learned from Qatar when they were looking like they should have been race winners, potentially 1-2 race winners, and it all went so wrong behind a safety car restart. Bruce Ioanni in the background will host our Hyperpole ceremony. So confirmation there of the top 10. Cadillac row 1, then the number 5 Porsche and the 94 Peugeot, equaling the best qualifying I think we've seen from a Peugeot in Hypercar. And then with the number 20 BMW and the 93 Peugeot, so 93 will line up directly behind 94. Number 6 Porsche and the 15 BMW on row 4 of the grid, and then our Le Mans winners, the 83 Ferrari and the number 8 Toyota on row 5 of the grid. And just to remind you, that time from the Toyota, 1:23.496. Last year, the 8th car was second on a 1:23.2, so a couple of tenths slower than they were last year. 1:23.1 was pole last year, and that was Mike Conway in the number 7 Toyota. It's a 1:22.5 this year, so 0.6 of a second quicker, and a lot of that must be coming from the elevated grip levels of this resurfaced Interlagos track.
No doubt, though, that was some qualifying performance from the whole team at Cadillac Hurst Team Jota. Cracking stuff.
Well, it's time to celebrate now after fantastic qualifying with a lot of emotion here in Interlagos. I'm with the GT3 drivers, and next to me, Eduardo Barrichello. At home, you must be delighted, and so must be your father.
Yeah, it's such a special moment for me. You know, my family is here, my friends are here, and I grew up here. I live 20 minutes from here as well, so it's just great to be able to see the Brazilian crowd, and yeah, I'm just super happy.
Can you transform? Yeah, the crowd is cheering just behind for this Hyperpole presented by Rolex, so that's a great moment. Please enjoy. Quick word with you, Anthony. You must be delighted to be here. First result like this, amazing.
Yeah, it was really great. It's my first time in WEC, so I'm just very humble, and these guys helped me learn the track. It's his home track, so he's an excellent teacher, and I'm just happy to be able to give him that chance to do pole.
Excellent. And last word for Valentin Asclot. First pole position as well here with Aston Martin in WEC for you. Must be delighted.
Yes, full credit to my teammates today, and we could not have dreamed for a better place to do it than here, and I'm so proud of Dudu today. Much deserved, and thank you Anthony for giving us the chance to be in Hyperpole as well.
And you have to carry that on tomorrow. It's time to celebrate. You're going to be receiving the medals from Jean-Baptiste Casta here from Rolex, a nice Rolex medal. Eduardo Barrichello, that must be extremely proud, and I know his father isn't right here, he's not around, but I'm sure we'll see him smiling tomorrow. And time to make sure you won't forget that moment, so it's time for a picture right now with a little bit of music. Non, les deux autres sont là, ils viennent d'arriver. And it's now. Excellent. And Alex Lynn was here alone. He's just finding his teammate that can finally celebrate with him. Alex, come next to me. Pole position in Le Mans, here pole position again, and what a lap as well. I mean, it's super tight, except from you, flying 22.8 in the first part of the qualifying, and then 22.5, and Sebo, they joined you in the 22s. That's an amazing lap again.
Thanks. No, honestly, yeah, it feels great to be on pole again. It's a special feeling to drive the Cadillac on one lap. And honestly, I love being here in Brazil. The Sao Paulo track's so cool. It's just a huge honor. I'm really happy.
Excellent. Your teammates, Will, a little word. Focusing on the race, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we knew we needed to start up the front for this race. I think track position's pretty key here. So best place to be starting for tomorrow.
Excellent. And Norman, you must be super happy to be here. We know you're racing in Formula E as well, so it was obviously the right choice to be here this weekend.
Yeah, no, honestly, like a big congrats to Alex and to the team for another 1-2. We know it's going to be a difficult race tomorrow, like a lot of different strategy on tires, a lot of tire degradation. So yeah, it's a good position to start for tomorrow, and yeah, like we're going to try our best to be in the first step of the podium tomorrow.
Excellent. Nothing to worry about now. Now it's time to celebrate. So I invite again Jean-Baptiste Casta to give you those beautiful Rolex Hyperpole medals. Time to make sure that this moment will stay forever. A nice picture. And well, we're going to finish up today like this. See you tomorrow for the start of the race, which will be happening at 5 local time, which is going to be 12:00 Central European time. Don't miss it. It's going to be an amazing race here in Interlagos. Thank you, and bye for now.